Hi, this is Ruth, the host of In the Margins Notes on Faith and Becoming. The video you're about to watch was filmed a year ago with my former co-host Josh, who is, as I say all the time, sorely missed. This is an incredible episode filmed with Pastor Triumph. We discussed everything from her story, her journey, dating Apostle Oscar. She gave some great advice to me as someone who's quite picky, although I must add, I have grown. A round of applause. I have grown since we last recorded the video. Don't worry, I didn't say anything controversial. And I am confident that you will find so much wisdom and gems dropped in this video. I remember recording this a year ago, just being sat there in absolute awe, because the things she had to share were literally so invaluable, things that I will cherish and continue to ponder on. So I hope you enjoy this episode on dating and relationships.
Today we have got a very, very, very special episode.
Very special guest.
And a very special guest as well. We have got someone who is a church leader. We have someone who is also the founder of the Bride Hub, which is a community supporting ladies in the journey into and whilst they're actually in marriage.
Yeah.
Not only that, but she's a professional, a pharmacist.
Yeah.
So she can feed and nourish your soul, and she can help heal your body as well. It's really incredible. She's a wife of one man. One man. It's beautiful. Ruth tells me that she's the minister of enjoyment as well, which is lovely.
She is.
She knows how to have a good time. Yes. Yeah. But most importantly, she's a woman of God. She's a child of God. We have the one and only Lady Triumph. Please, welcome.
Thank you so much. Wow, what an introduction. Thank you guys. I'm absolutely happy to be here. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being
excited for this time.
Yes, we are honoured to have you traveled long and far and wide to be here. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And so we're going to be speaking about love and ministry and how to navigate the two of these things. Yeah. So just to ease the listeners into it, how did you actually meet your beloved? I'm sure you had quite a few suitors.
Yeah, you know? She did.
Oh, you did? Wow. So what made you say, this is the one?
The right guy.
Yeah, I will accept his advances.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, I met my beloved. My husband right now.
Wow.
I met him a good number of years ago. I'm talking about 2012 actually. Is when we met.
It's a while ago.
So it's quite a while. Now we can say it's a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we met actually at church. My husband was a keyboard player.
Wow.
And I'm also a pastor's child. So I was a PK. Still am a PK actually. And the way we met is the fact that we were looking for a keyboardist to come and play in our church. And we wanted someone who actually can understand our way of worship, because we had a very interesting way of worshiping back then. People were not very much in tune with their singing. Many off-key moments. So I was like, God, send us somebody that will be patient with us.
Yeah.
Someone that understands our way of doing things.
Yeah.
Someone who understands how an African, in particular Nigerian church, functions. Because back then we would have different keyboard players coming in and not really lasting the test of time.
Okay.
So my husband just happened to be someone that I asked through a mutual friend who was also a keyboardist. Do you know anybody that's looking for a church to play at?
Okay.
And that's how my husband came in to our church.
Wow.
So when I encountered my husband that day, I was like, oh, okay, this is a tall, interesting specimen.
Wow, specimen.
So I did actually admire him because I was like, it was not often that we see a tall, handsome dude in our church in particular. So when he came through the door, I was like, okay, he's played. All right, he's looking for his money at the end. Fair enough. I was trying to use my woman skills to be like, okay, maybe we don't have to pay him. Like, smile a little bit more, flirt a little bit here and there. We wouldn't have to release the funds because at the time our church was quite tight with not wanting to pay musicians.
Okay.
But I told them that no, this is a different era. We have to pay the musicians, and I was like, okay, fair enough. If I can find a way to maneuver. So I remember my husband very well back then saying to me, "I want my money." I was like, wow. So this is not working, guys. This one that you're smiling with me, I've come, I've played, I need my money. I was like, wow, okay. No problem, sir. Take your money.
Take your money. Give me my money.
Take your money. So that's how, of course, he took his money. But we'd already exchanged details anyway through the mutual friend. And I remember that day, I think he sent me a long message telling me some poetry of roses are red. Hey, I said, oh, this
just like that.
So I was exactly so quickly. I was thinking, I was like, here we go, another musician trying his luck. I guess because he's got his money and he noticed I was flirting with him before he was already in there.
Wow.
I said, you're quick.
Wow.
But that ain't gonna work, okay? Because just like most musicians that come through the door, I've encountered along the way. The reason why I say encounters is because back then we were doing a lot of music, myself and my cousins at the time. We had a group and we do a lot of singing around at different churches, different events. So we encounter musicians a lot. And one thing you find with musicians, they always end up liking the choruses. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's different now. But back then there's this thing about, they were always like somebody in the group.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you've come again. You're just like every typical one trying your luck. But no, you need to slow down. But in a way, I played on it though. Okay. Because I was like, at least that means he'll come back next week and the week after. We might have to be able to hold this one down because he actually likes me. Wow. But his words were quite direct. Yeah. So I was thinking, this one is just a playboy. Very, very quick. But it don't work like that. He was like, I kind of like you. I was like, hey, you kind of like me now because I'm giving you your money. But
2 minutes
ago. Sending me all sorts of poetry. So that's kind of how we encountered ourselves. So he started coming and playing often and people were taking a liking to him. Then he started, serving a bit more in the church. And then after that, I guess, he took me out. Yeah. Every now and then. One thing he noticed, maybe he was just a very, very quick studier. He knows I like food. He knew I like being wined and dined. Then, so I think one of our first places that we went to was in Stratford. Yeah. We went to some Chinese restaurant over in Stratford. I remember eating and chopping, and even he has shared the story and how I even took takeaway from my cousins. I took takeaway from my friends that day. I was like, I've enjoyed a good meal. I've enjoyed everything here, so I'm taking my takeaway to go and feed. I was very open and honest, so I was just like, this is who I am. I'm not going to start saying I'm eating salad just to impress the guy. I'm like, I like my food. You're going to know I like my food. But I think a part of the reason why I did that is to kind of test him, to see how much he can stretch his wallet. Also, probably number 2, because I wasn't really taking him seriously as of then.
Wow.
So I hadn't taken him fully seriously, to be honest. And I was like, okay, let's see what he's going to do with this. And he's going to send him packing, or I'm just going to get another day out of this, and I'm going to have another good time. And then will it venture to something or not? But to be honest, as time progressed, because he was coming to my church and we were also meeting outside the church, we were getting closer and closer, and I was getting to know him in a different way. I was like, this guy's actually really nice. He's cool. Bearing in mind that I did say I was attracted to him to some extent, but I was attracted to him with wisdom at the same time. Wow. Okay. I was still watchful.
Can you elaborate on attracted with wisdom? Like, what does that mean?
Attracted with wisdom meant that I wasn't trying to just fall for the looks only. Attracted with wisdom to know that I need to see what his character's about. I need to study how he is. So I said, okay, don't get too excited by the way he looks. Don't get too excited because you've finally seen a Christian man. Because to be honest, my eyes were open at the time. I was like, God, now I'm of age. I need a Christian brother. I'm tired of you sending me people that say that they're Christian, but they're really not. They'll come to church. They're churchgoers once in a while, but they're not really interested in you like that. They don't have a relationship with you. I need somebody that I can say that, yes, I can spend the rest of my life with, but also someone that I know my family would accept. Because when it comes to marriage, especially with my culture and being from an African home, it's not just about marrying you, you're kind of marrying the family. 100%. So they're going to need to accept him. And I'm going to need somebody that can accept the ministry background that I'm coming from, the kind of church background, the fact that I'm a pastor's child as well. Are they going to really want to be a part of this church life and kind of place and space that I'm from? So when I met somebody that actually did not see my church as weird, did not see us as too af, because back then being af was a thing. It was a thing. So I was like, okay, finally, someone who understands this. And he was one of the people that understood that. So when he came, and it wasn't weird for him, and he kept coming, I was like, wow, excited. But I didn't want my excitement to carry me away. So that's why I said I had to still tread with wisdom to now look and say, okay, he's great. And the outer appearance, what is he like inside? What is he like outside of the church? How does he treat me outside? Does he still get in contact with me? Is he ghosting me? Does he call me at the right times?
Yeah.
Does he actually come and visit me? And when he comes and visits, does he leave? Was he trying to stay over? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is he trying to get in there or not get in there? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does he understand my moral standards?
Yeah.
Is he willing to wait with me? All those sort of things. So I was like, okay, he's kind of ticking the right boxes. Because when we go out, he will drop me off and he will go back home. And back then he wasn't even driving, so he would take the bus back home.
Wow.
Or take a cab. Or if it had to be a night bus, he's taking that night bus back home.
Wow, that's love.
And he didn't mind.
Oh.
It could be 11 at night, it could be 12. He wasn't saying I need to stay over, can I, even if I sleep on the couch, then I'll wake up the next day and go early in the morning. No, he respectfully was going back that same day, no matter the hour.
Oh man.
So that's what I said. Hey, this one is
serious candidate.
It's a serious candidate, exactly. So that's kind of how we started off. 2012. That was around that kind of April time. By August, I now said to him, yes. I gave him my actual official yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I take ownership. We're always going back and forth about this one, but I did go to him and I said, okay, I'm ready for us to be official.
Okay. Nice.
He had asked me out, but I was stalling for a long time.
Wow.
For those months, and then I said, okay, I'm ready for us to be
He was
official.
patient.
He was patient. Yeah.
Wow.
Patient, yeah.
And so by 2013 of December, he engaged me.
Wow.
On my birthday. On
Wow.
the 28th of
Coming.
December. Oh, I kind of did because of how our relationship was progressing.
Okay.
I kind of did because how my family embraced him and loved him and accepted him because he was coming to our church, he was helping out. So I already knew where it was going. I didn't see it coming the day.
Yeah.
At all. I did not have any ounce of a clue, but I knew that soon this is going to lead to something serious. He's going to engage me at some point. But I was very shocked when it happened that day.
Oh, what did you do as a proposal?
So he literally I think I went out with some of my friends. We went out to, I think it was a bar or so. And this man, he came, which is fine. That's my boyfriend expected to show up. I think I literally just turned around and the guy was in the middle of the floor.
Okay.
In the middle of the floor in this bar with his the ring, asking me to marry him in front of all my friends.
Oh.
It was literally and before then we had an argument. I was like, this is not the time to be arguing on my birthday. I was already ticked off. I was angry, but I knew it was. Well, I now later realised it was part of.
Oh, it was part of the plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
Apparently, yes. Because the argument was so petty, I can't even tell you what it was, but it was something that didn't even make sense. So I was like, can we just come here to fight for nothing? Or you've got to be joking.
Yeah.
Then I knew it that, after the proposal,
It was part of the plan.
I was like, oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
So, that obviously completely erased. I was more in shock that, wow, is this really happening?
Yeah.
So then he asked me to marry him then.
That's amazing. So April 2012, you started dating.
Mm-hmm.
You became official around August.
Yep.
And
And then
December following year.
2013,
Wow.
we were
engaged.
engaged.
That's incredible.
Did you do any prep work to before you got into a relationship? Did you do any counselling or therapy or internal work to prepare you for the time when it came?
No,
Okay.
I actually did not because I didn't have those things readily available for me. The only thing I did do was spend time in prayer. And I got very specific with God at one point. And I said, you know what, Lord? I'll put every other request to one side. I just want somebody who will be God-fearing. I need a God-fearing man. I need a man that will love me, respect me, a man that my family will accept. I'm ready to get married. So I just became very specific with God. And I said that, God, I need a man of God.
Yeah.
Not a man of God as in a minister, but a man who loves God.
Yeah.
That's what I said to it. And I just pushed every other desire, every other request I may have wanted at that time. And I just became intentional in prayer with God. I wouldn't say that I necessarily joined any programs because I didn't have any of those things, unfortunately, at that time. If I had, I would have loved to have that, but we didn't. There was nothing much on YouTube on relationships like that, especially when it came to being in ministry relationships anyway. So I literally just leaned on family, leaned on God at that time. I wasn't really reading any books, I can't even lie. I think I was just very heavily distracted with university. That was enough reading and studying for me as it was. And I was doing a bit of enjoyment life then as well. Hence probably why I was meeting all the wrong people at the appointed time.
Okay.
So, but no, I didn't do much. I didn't have to do any counselling.
Mm.
I didn't do any counselling. I didn't do any therapy. And I think the reason why I didn't necessarily do that, because I hadn't had any necessary life traumas that warranted that I felt that was affecting me from meeting anybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe that's probably why I didn't actively look into doing anything like that. Now, when it came to maybe counselling and stuff, that's different. Like premarital counselling is just something that we had to do.
Okay.
And that just came with the church. But in terms of preparing for that for myself, I didn't. Now, had it been now when things are so readily available for people that have been through traumatic situations, I would always advise that they do therapy and counselling even before entering any relationship.
Right.
Because a lot of times people bring a lot of their traumas into the relationship and sabotage it.
Yeah.
A lot of them bring that into the relationship expecting so much from their other half. And unfortunately, it puts a lot of pressure onto the relationship that it doesn't last the test of time. So I didn't necessarily need that. But coming to think about it, if I could rewind time, no, probably I wouldn't have, because again, I didn't have childhood traumas that would necessarily affect my relationship that I'm in now.
Got it. The other question I had was, I know you met Dr. Scott in church. I know there's a huge debate about meeting, the opposite, your partner in church, and like, is that a safe thing to do? Like, is it the right environment? It comes with a lot of risks as well. What's your take? Like, would you advise it? Would you not advise it? Like, did it bring any benefits to you that you got to know him in that space and environment?
Church is good.
Yeah.
But it's not always a guarantee. It's not. Unfortunately, we have a lot of men that they call wolves in sheep's clothing.
Yeah. My gosh.
Which means that the men that you see, even if they're in the church, doesn't necessarily mean that they're good men. Sometimes the men in church are even worse than the men outside the church. And it might be safe to say that because sometimes it's better the devil you know.
Yeah.
And people like authentic, they like real. Like, if you're not going to church and you don't believe in certain morals, I now know that's what you're about. Rather than putting and lifting up holy hands and doing the most in church, acting like you're holier than thou, and then I've seen a completely different person outside. And sadly, so that's what you tend to find in church. People often say that we like to say that our church is a soldier barrack, but really church is a hospital.
Wow.
Church is a hospital in the sense that you have people that come in there that with all sorts of sicknesses, which means that they have all sorts of problems, all sorts of issues coming into the house. And that includes men as well, looking for a savior, looking for help, looking for encouragement. So you will find different walks of life or different people coming from different backgrounds. And some people have dealt with those things. Most times they haven't dealt with them. They're still dealing with it while they're even in church. Hence why you will meet all sorts of different kind of men. So it is a good environment, but unfortunately it's not always a safe environment. That's the truth. You still have to get to know the person outside of church. And it's safe to say that even if you met them outside of church, bring them in church is great, because we rely on God to convict the person. But inside and outside church, to put a long story short, it doesn't matter where you meet the guy. It's still the same. Church does not guarantee, unfortunately, it doesn't guarantee. However, having said that, again, the beneficial side is that if you do meet someone in church, the chances are, especially if he's been to church for a while and he's serving, you may meet a good one. And it may be safe to say that this one is a good, genuine man of God, or a man that loves the Lord. Especially if he's got a track record where he's been there for a long time. He's been serving for a while. There's commitment, there's loyalty to the house. Those are the ones that I will say, okay, yeah, this one is of actual very good potential. So sometimes you can actually get it right in church. However, you may meet some that have been there for a while and still not who they are. That's the truth. But most times, by their fruits you will know them. By their acts of service you will know them. By their dedication to the house you will know them. Their commitment to the house you will know them. For sure. And
you spoke about the church being a hospital, so for sick people.
Yeah.
So do you think you can be too sick to be in a relationship? So how would one know whether or not they're too sick? Because I remember you even mentioned that you felt ready at one point. How did you know that you were ready? And what does it look like to be too sick to be in a relationship?
Well, to be honest, when I said too sick, when you say too sick, rather, when I say sick, of course you will have people in church that are troubled. Sometimes people can mask it very well. most times you may not even know unless you spend time with them outside church, by going on dates with them, sometimes even just being on the phone with them. How are they around you when they're not in the four walls of the church?
Yeah.
What are their behaviors? Sometimes even by the comments that they say, the conversations you have with them. Are they speaking off? Are they actually speaking in tune with what you're saying? How are they emotionally connecting with you, intellectually connecting with you? Now, when we're going about too sick is that how many relationships potentially has that person been in? How long did they last? Have they been in and out of relationships? Do they speak to several different women at a time? Do they find it hard to focus on one? Are they speaking to 5 different women? Because some people will use that as an excuse to say, I'm just dating. But really, no, maybe you're dealing with some issues. Maybe some insecurity issues. I don't know what it is. But why do you have to speak to 5, 6 different women at the same time? You know? It is that sort of thing. So when I say too sick as well, some people just don't know how to, how can I put it? Some people don't know how to manage people. Manage people's emotions and feelings. Some people, they get angered so quickly, you know, quick to anger over little things. They just want to start an argument and spark it from 0 to 100, you know, so quickly. So these are things that one will be watching. Overreaction, you know. Some people, mental health, that's the truth as well. They may show it, they may not show it. They might have ways to hide it. Depressive illness, schizophrenia, all manners of things. We've dealt with that in the church, to be honest. We've had people that come through the door with that. But at the end of the day, Jesus is a saviour. He can do anybody at the end of the day. He can redeem anybody. But when we say heal before you deal, and you know, still looking at sickness and trauma a bit, I think it's more the case of some people sadly have come from broken homes. Some people have been molested while they were younger. You know, whether it be from their fathers, from their mothers, from their uncles, whatever the case may be. And they've not really dealt with that. They've not been delivered from that. And most times when they come into relationships, they try to put that in their relationship, unfortunately, with the other person. But the way they respond to them, the way they react to situations. Some women, they go hysterical. It's not just men. Some women go hysterical over things that shouldn't be a big deal. Maybe because of the fact that they see the man talking to another woman. And it could be innocently at church, like a fellow sister. But then they're already feeling somehow about it. Like, oh, you're trying to move to her. And the guy's like, I'm not moving to her. I'm just saying hello and hi like a fellow sister. And she's already overreacting. No, you're trying to advance to her. Blah, 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 blah. You know. So some people, they have to look within themselves like that. I've got issues that I need to deal with. I'm probably reacting like that because I've been touched when I was younger. I've been molested when I was younger. And I just feel a certain way around people. Some people as well reject love.
Wow.
They know that people love them. The people actually want to be with you. A guy wants to be with you, or body with a woman, or vice versa. But you somehow keep rejecting it. You keep saying, I'm not about that. And you're like, why? But you're kind of age. Like, why don't you want to go down the road of marriage? Why don't you want something serious? Like, nah, I'm not for that. Sometimes it's because of that. Some people just automatically reject people. They don't see that this could be a potential for you because they just don't know how to receive love.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think unrealistic expectations can play into that also? Like sometimes it can be they just don't know how to receive love, but also maybe sometimes
their own fantasies
are conflicting with like the reality of a person.
Yeah.
And it's just difficult.
I think that's a big struggle already in the church, a major struggle, especially for women. And I get it because we are in a world where everything is very superficial. We're in a world where everything looks good. We're in a world of social media and technology and everybody's putting up their best posts. And let's face it, we are attracted to what we see. Not just men, women are as well. We often use that as an excuse for men, that men are attracted to what they see. But women are also attracted to what they see. And because probably we're constantly looking at images that have been set a certain way that grasp our attention. Maybe the way the woman's body looks or the guy's body looks or his features or his chiseled looks, etc. That we can't help but feeling that's the kind of man that we want to have as well. We want the good-looking guy that I have to be attracted to, but also the Christian guy. And then we also want him to have a good job and a good career because, again, we are in a world where we know that finances allows things to run. That's the truth. Nobody wants to struggle. We're in an era now where everybody wants to live a soft life because that's what's being sold to us. Because who doesn't want to carry their bag and travel and live a life of luxury and drive 5 cars and have a nice house? Because that's what everybody's constantly showing us. But not only that, we know that those things make us feel good. At the end of the day, that's one of the reasons why we're working so hard. We want to have a nice family home. We want to have a nice car. We want to travel the world. It's kind of what we're all aspiring for. So a lot of people, especially women now, have got that at the back of their head that, no, I need a man that's packaged like that as well. Fair enough, I'm working hard on trying to do my own, but he needs to match that and more. I don't need a man that's going to be dragging me backwards. I don't need a man that's going to be dragging backwards. I've done enough struggle in my life. I don't need a man that's taking me back to struggle. And I hear it, I understand it. The sad reality is, though, that not everybody will have that kind of man that's packaged and made. But we're all aspiring. And the thing with life as well is that everybody's life can change in the flicker of a moment. It could be his made moment and it could be your unmade moment. It could be your made moment and his unmade moment, you know? Everybody has their moments or their seasons of winning. The man that you saw that didn't have it all together back then, which kind of was a story of my story. My husband didn't have it all together when I met him at all. But everybody would look at him and be like, oh, wow, apostle, oh my God. But apostle's not the apostle that I met, like in 2012. If we look at our pictures from now till then, even you'll be like, my God, what happened? God is good, you know. And that's why I probably am an advocate for people not looking at how people look right now, feature-wise, and also in terms of what they have, because I can see how life evolves and how people change, for sure, as they acquire more and as they grow. Everybody's going to grow. When you look back at your pictures of who you was 10 years ago, I was doing some reflection on my pictures. I was like, this is definitely not me. Some people will look at me like, nah, that is not you. Because it's completely different. So everybody's going to change with time. As time progresses, we all have the opportunity as well to make it. And when I say to make it, in terms of further things get presented to us, times where you can train further in yourself. Now we're having different courses where people can develop themselves. Like you were talking about a course that you're doing. By the time you know, you're going to be an accountant earning some top decker money, and then you're going to be like, excuse me, you people that want me now, were you there before? Now you're going to be remembering those that were there from the beginning, who understood what you were going through when you were working in your hard season, when you didn't have much. So this is the kind of life, and I've seen that time and time with life. But it's just obviously sad that some people don't remember those that were there from the beginning, to be honest. They remember those that are there in the moment. But I say this to say that everybody will evolve and grow. Do not look at people's humble beginnings. Try and think of more the potential. And that's what I do with my husband. The potential that this person can have, that if they build on that potential, they can become something in the future. One of the things that I noticed for him is that, for example, he loved to read. He loved to study. And I said that if a man loves to read and study, then he can definitely use that skill to develop himself. That will get him something in the future, which means that his likelihood is that if he studies, he's going to pass his course. With passing and getting his extra qualification, he's going to get a job. You know, that will open doors for him, or he's going to do something of his own business that will open doors for him. Because respectfully speaking, most people will listen to you if you have some form of education, some form of knowledge. So that's why I say I'd never box people. I always look at the potential. Then I also look at the looks like, okay, he's a bit malnourished now, or he's a bit big now. You know, if he's a bit malnourished, if he eats a bit of food, he will look good. All I need to do is feed him more. And if he's a bit big, once he loses a bit of weight, we can always work on that. People can always trim their weight, and they will, you know, the features will start to show more, and they will look good.
Very true.
And most times you'll find that the beauty that's inside of a person eventually takes away the beauty of the outside. Because guess what? We're all going to get old. Our looks are all going to fade eventually. That's the truth. And the thing that's going to keep us hanging is the personality and the beauty that was inside all along. The kindness, the gentleness, the patient side that we had, the listening side that we had, all those kind of skills, the supportive side, the respectful side. That's what actually strengthens and allows the relationship to last longer. Those are the things that count. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Beautiful.
That's amazing. I'm so happy you said that, because I was about to ask what's the difference between not dating for potential and still trying to like catch a vision for who someone could be.
Yeah.
But you touched on that at the end perfectly.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. So we'll move the conversation on.
I've got one question.
Oh, go on.
Oh.
Because I said, as I was saying to you before, like, I'm a bit picky.
Yes,
Okay.
you are.
I'm a bit picky. But, like, how do you discern if it's completely unrealistic versus if it's a realistic expectation? Keep it on your list, if that makes sense. So, for example, Josh knows for the like good 3 years I was saying 6 foot minimum. I even increased it to like 6'1". I was like 6'1" minimum. But now I've been brought back to reality. Like 5'11's calm. But like how do you realise like, oh, this is actually really stupid, like you're blocking yourself versus it's actually a reasonable expectation?
Yeah. So I used to be like that. Until I presented my case to God, because I was like, this is not coming now.
Yeah.
I used to be like, oh, I need an NBA player height.
Yeah.
I was proper like that. In fact, at one point I was even saying I need an NBA player. I want someone that plays basketball. I want to live that basketball life in the USA. I'm going to move to America. I'm going to live in LA. I was set out. I was going to Beverly Hills. I had that all on my list as well, by the way.
Wow.
And I was like, what kind of
I'm not
dream?
that bad.
I was like, what kind of world are you living in? Maybe it was some fantasy world, because I was a lot younger then, and I was just living life as though there's no tomorrow at some points in my life, when it just felt like, wow, you can actually just live life and as though you're not going to get any older. But of course, the responsibility humbles you, by the way. It's probably because I wasn't responsible for anything. The responsibility absolutely humbles you. When you start stepping into real adulthood and you realize, hey, wait, hold on, you have to work for your money.
Yeah.
You got bills to pay.
Yeah.
You got rents to pay. You got money to save for and emergencies to save for. You've got people that you need to also give money to. I was like, wow, okay, this is real humbling reality. Especially when you leave university.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like university also has a way of boxing and shielding you as well from that reality of adulthood until you're flung into it. And you're like, oh my goodness me. So education is over now.
Yeah.
I can't even use it as a cover up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I came to my realization that this had to go down. Because I was like, okay, now I'm actually still in the UK. I've not found myself in America.
So I'm
To get to America, it's not exactly straightforward. This passport is not going to keep me in America. So you ain't going to know America, love. You're still very much here. And absolutely, who you marry can change everything of what you even thought you were going to be. It can change your dreams, your aspirations, your facaded reality, for sure. Now, but before you even get to that step, which is already happening to you, as the years start progressing or the months start progressing in life, and you start realizing, hold on a second, I'm not getting any younger. I'm actually getting older.
Yeah.
When you start seeing your age mates getting married or having boyfriends and serious relationships getting married, you're like, hold on a second. So that one has now moved on, because let's face it, when people get married, they're in their own bubble. You single person has been pushed to one side. They might meet up with you once in a while, but they're finding a new set of friends because they're now trying to navigate marriagehood with people that are equally married. So then you will now be like, hold on a second. This friend has gone.
Yeah.
Then it will look like, okay, at least there's still 3 of us. This one has gone. There's now 2 of us.
They're all gone for me.
They're all gone. I'm your last man standing. Then you will now go and review your list, and you're like, hold on a second. Okay, God, maybe I'm being a bit too unrealistic here. Then you will now start seeing the things that you thought mattered really shouldn't matter. That height one, to be honest, for me, it was a deal breaker. Maybe I just got lucky. And I was like one person that said, I cannot have somebody that I'm going to be looking down on. So when I wear heels, we're going to be looking like this. But the truth of the matter is, now that I've grown, now that if I was still single, I probably would not be looking at height. Because I'll be like, hold on a second, girl, you're almost 40 years old. Which height are you looking at? If you want, you need to compromise some things. The things that really count. Can he take care of you in this struggling world that we are in, where people are trying to make ends meet? Like I was talking about the struggle. Do you want someone that you're going to be struggling with together, or do you want somebody that actually he knows what he's doing? He's not living in a dream or in a bubble. We are pursuing something, and in 2 to 3 years' time, we can go from here to there. You know, and then when we start having children, they too can go from here to there. We're not going to be dragging ourselves backwards, because nobody wants that life anymore. Life is already hard enough. So you start going for things that actually count for your future. Height does not count for your future, because when we all grow older, even those that were tall, when in their 50s, like they tell to show you their 60s, they shrink when they get older.
They shrink.
Wow,
they
that's
shrink.
True. That's true.
Those that was saying, oh, you were light and fair. They go darker.
They
And
go
get me, I've got darker over the years.
Yeah.
So all those things we're looking at, I'm telling you, they all fade away and they don't matter. The things that matter is that as life is evolving, do you have enough to stand on your feet? Have you put investments in place that will secure you for your future to stand on your feet so you don't have to struggle, your children don't have to struggle? God forbid if there was a health challenge or an emergency that came up, do you have emergency funding that can fund your lifestyle, or fund your children or fund your home? The things that really adult, proper, serious conversations. Or are we now going to be looking to the government to help us out, of our situations? Are we going to now have to say that I have to sell my house because I have nothing, I never had anything that I put in place? You need people that think with that mindset. These are the things that matter. And that's why I always encourage people, including yourself, my dear, think of your future, not of your current state. Think of the future and start dropping your list according to that. A key one, which we obviously know already, is what we're already doing, which is this Christian walk. He has to be saved. He has to be a Christian. There's no doubt about that, because at the end of the day, it's Christian morals and principles that will allow your relationship to stand, will allow your relationship to grow. Now, when the relationship weathers a storm, because every relationship goes through a stormy period, goes through a period of challenge, goes through a period of hardship. That Bible that we have is usually our clinging hope. It's usually our faith, which, remember, faith is basically things that you don't necessarily see right in front of you, in the most simple context to say it. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, but you believe that it's going to happen. In fact, you believe it's happened already. And that's what the Bible is centered around, where we don't see it, God. They said it's absolutely impossible, to be honest. Even the doctors have completely written it off. But God has said that, you know what? No matter what the doctor says, no matter what the report says, no matter what those letters said, no matter how much debt they said you're in, I am telling you that I am the God that makes all things that are impossible very possible. And that's why I do what we call miracles. Even till today, miracles are not just for the Bible, they're for now as well. Which means I can turn any situation around. I can turn any situation. So we always would have to lean on that at some point in our lives, in our journey, even in our journey of marriage, our journey of relationship. So the main thing is that, do I have somebody that I align with, that aligns with what I believe in terms of my faith? Do I have somebody that is ambitious like me? The person that will not make me the breadwinner or make me the one that will be the priest of the home, ideally not. Do I have someone that is understanding, that's a good listener, someone that possesses good characters and attitudes, someone that's kind? Men like women that will respect them. Well, to be honest, women also like men that will respect them too. Not one that will talk to you anyhow in front of your friends or be commanding you up and down like you're some doormat or some slave. Nobody wants that. You want someone that respects you, understands you, someone that can, especially in this day and age, we're all going to work. So we all need to be doing acts of service. So can you do certain duties that you deemed as traditional, but now we have to untraditionalize that in the sense that, can you now cook and clean as well? Can we both do that together? Because guess what, we're both going to work. So can you do shopping too? And yes, I could do shopping too, Can you do the cooking too? Can I come back home to a cook meal as well? All those bonuses that we would love to have, if only they were reality though.
If only.
This is amazing. This is amazing. You mentioned responsibility humbling you. And there's obviously a lot of responsibility that comes with ministry. Was that something that was ever part of your, did you ever envision yourself getting into ministry? And if not, when did that change? And how did you adjust?
My God, this question has been a question of recent a lot.
Yeah.
For real. And oh my God, ministry, in terms of church ministry, was something that I never saw.
Okay.
No, absolutely was something that I never saw coming, because it's something that I never wanted. I said I wanted a man of God, MOG, a man that fears the Lord, but not necessarily a man of God over a church that's now going to say that we're going to have a ministry or we're going to have a church. And back then when my husband used to come to my church, I knew that he was passionate about the things of God, and I loved his drive for God. I loved the fact that he desired God, but I started to see signs that this man might take it a bit more than just wanting to love the things of God now. It looks like we're going towards a ministry.
Yeah.
But in my head, God forgive me. But I used to reject it in the back of my mind. I'm like, God, I hate shit. Please, God, forgive me. I said, I know I was supposed to be someone's wife. You're supposed to support that error.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be an antagonist against it.
This is real.
But I was like, for this one, God, you'd see my heart. I'm against it. And I think, obviously, the reason for that is because I was coming from a church background already. You know, my service to the Lord was enough. It felt like it was taking over my life most of the times. I told you I went from a PK home, which required me to serve in church, which required me to serve in the worship team, to serve in the youth team, and to be there every single blessed Sunday, even through my uni years. There was just never an excuse not to be there. Even when I had exams coming up, I wouldn't take any time out. Most of my friends would be taking time out. They wouldn't see their families for months, 2 months, 3 months. But I was still going to church even when I had an exam the next day. Just because I felt some sense of loyalty. I felt that I had to be there. Possibly because I felt that I had to please my parents. I didn't want them to struggle. I wanted them to be impressed. I wanted them to stay happy because I knew it kept them happy when they always see me. So there was always that side of me that felt that I had to be there. So I think going through all of that started to develop, I won't call it a resentment, but it started to develop a bit of a dislike towards having a ministry. Not going to church, but having a ministry, saying that we are pioneering, we're building a church, because I was in that already. I was in a church where you build from the bottom up.
Yeah.
So I already said, God, you see my heart. I do not want to marry a pastor. I cannot do it, because it literally means we have no life. Because that's how our family dynamics was. It meant that we had no life. It meant that ministry was our life. People's problems, people's issues were our life. Because they became the priority, to the point that they would move into our house. They could show up to our houses anytime. They will always be. They can call my dad anytime, my mom anytime. My parents had to take different families in at different points of time. Those that were kicked out, those that had nowhere to go. So they were living with us. We never actually had our own home, which is one of the reasons why we moved from South London to West London, was to be far enough so people can't come and visit us anyhow, because we were so easily accessible. Because South London is just such an easier place to get to than West, which is so far. So that's one of the main reasons why we moved. So I say that to say, I said to God, I can't do this. I cannot be with a pastor, because I know what it takes. I just want a simple life that if we were not in the country, nobody's looking for us. We don't have to get back quickly before Sunday. Get back on a Saturday to be in church for Sunday, so that the church is not affected and the house of God is not affected. Or people have to call us up at 10 p.m. at night, 11 p.m. at night, any odd hours of night, and expect us to pick up the call, or they show up at our door anyway, thinking that the house is open to everybody. Because some people, sometimes they feel like, oh, pastor's house is open to all. It's hospitality. They have to serve us, so that's what they're called to do, so we can show up anyhow, anyway. And no, that's not how it works. But people did that. Maybe because my parents were nice, some people took advantage of that. So it did not allow me to like ministry in any essence. So when my husband was into church, I loved the fact that he loved church. I could see how he was moving, but a part of me was like, just let it stay at this level. Please, God. But I can't deny that I saw something coming, but I was like, God, please answer my prayers. If there's any time you answer my prayer, is now, that this must not come to pass. So we started as a Friday fellowship. I remember Brook Place started as a Friday fellowship. We will have church on the Friday. And even for me, I was like, okay, this is a bit tough, because I will go to work, do my pharmacy job, and then we'll come for evening service from there. And then my husband's already doing like a setup. We will set up from scratch. We'll do our mics, speakers, and it was taking me back again. Maybe that was my little trauma that I didn't even know I had. And it was taking me back again to that church life of going to set up and everything, starting from scratch, not going to somewhere that's already set up for us, where you can just be in the congregation. And I was like, God, are we doing this again? This cannot be happening. And then my husband was like, yeah, let's keep pushing, let's keep going. And we realized that there was only 5 of us coming at a time, 6 of us, 8 of us. And I was like, oh God, are you sure you want to be doing this 6 and 8 situation? It's been a year now. And I remember him saying one day that this thing doesn't grow, I'm just going to leave it. And I was like, yes. Yes, come on, God. Jesus, take the wheel. Oh, so I feel so bad. But that was my thoughts back then. God knows. So I was like, so there's a possibility of maybe leaving this thing. I was like, oh, thank God. But then I remember when we got married, I don't know what happened. It's like another spark. My husband is very interesting. He's the type of man that if he puts his mind to something, he's going 100. Even if he feels like he might be discouraged at a point, he will still push as much as he can until it completely drains him off. But he knows how to put his 100 into something. So even though he had moments where it was like, oh, maybe we just pack this thing in, it's like another drive just came. So I remember one day he woke up and said, we're taking this from a Friday to a Sunday. We're officially at church.
Wow.
I said to him, sorry? You say what? He goes, yeah, we're officially at church. I was like, Jesus is Lord. How are we going to do that? We're still doing morning service with my parents. He goes, well, you're married now. You don't have to go to morning service.
Wow.
And I was like, yes, I do.
Wow.
Because I didn't know how to break from that because I know there was still a big dependency on me. So for a period of time, I was doing morning service and then I would go to evening service with my husband. And because to be honest, that's what we kind of was doing already. Even though we were doing Friday, I believe that initially when we switched, we were doing morning and evening. Then he completely shut it. He was like, I don't care how anyone feels. I'm not going to morning. I will just focus on my evening. But I was like, I can't just shut like that. I don't know how to navigate that. And it didn't help because my parents didn't encourage it either. He was like, you're married, you're supposed to pick two aside rather. And the truth of the matter is that once you're married, you're supposed to go and partner with your husband. And I'm like, yeah, I hear that, babe, but I can't just leave my parents' church like that. Who else is going to take over? Somebody will do it. There's always someone that can do it. That's just how it goes. You're married now, focus on your marriage. And I was like, I can't. So I would come, I'd be tired, I'd still drink my Red Bull and I'd be like, no, I can't do this with you. You can't be coming, being lively there and coming to church and looking like you're there. Or tired, exhausted out. Pick a side. I said, I can't. So for a while, there was a bit of a contention because I think I did that for almost a year where I'll go to both services. And then eventually I just had to do that as well. I had to basically do what he did, which is something that's not within my nature. Just literally just take that step where you just shut it.
Okay.
Complete cold turkey. Cut the umbilical cord.
Yeah. Don't
Don't phase it out. Don't say I can do once in 2 weeks. Once I just said no. I think the only way they'll get the message, because my parents were not encouraging in that area, sadly. So they were like, well, why don't listen to your husband? You can do both. You can go to morning service and evening service. Don't listen to him, Joe. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You can do. Why can't you do both? You can do both. Then I realised it's causing a few issues in our marriage. It was very, very pressuring time. A lot of contention in that area. So I just said I have to make a decision. Fine, I'll take your side. I cut it. In my head, I was like, my family is my family regardless. If they love me and I'm their first daughter, they love their children. Even if they get angry and they get vexed, they will always regard me as their child. They'll come back round eventually. Which is basically what happened. And also, I was speaking to a few people that I confided in around that time, and they were telling me the same thing. They said, at the end of the day, your parents are your parents. They will never leave you. They can get angry, they can get vexed, but they will come back round. That's the truth. You're their daughter. No matter what, they're not going to disown you for something like this. So don't feel like you've lost your family and you've had to take the side of your husband. You completely, lost your family. So in the end, that's kind of what happened. They did come round. Everybody came round, but again, maybe conversation for another day. Even though I shared most of it, or there are some more to that, many more layers as to how we navigated that season, as to how we did it. But I just had to pick a side. It wasn't the most favourable side for both parties, but at least for my husband it was. Maybe for my parents at the time it wasn't. And then of course that also caused another rift along the way. And that's what I meant by the long story can still be extended of how I navigated through that. Because at one point it felt like we will never make it. We will make it as in a married couple, but I will not make it in terms of my parents and my husband's relationship. It felt like I was the person in the middle trying to please a spouse and trying to please a set of parents, and I couldn't bring them close enough together. So it looked like they were just going further and further apart. And imagine when you're coming from a family where you love your parents so much, but you also love your spouse, and like, which side do I go? But you're also, where you've never really been married before, you didn't know how to navigate. Some people, which has happened even along the journey of our ministerial friends, have actually not known the wiser and picked their parents' side.
Wow.
And allowed their marriage to break because of that. And that's sometimes the hold that parents have on their children, especially ministry parents.
Could you, I'm also getting a sense of, this is I think the final question, right? I was just going to ask, because I'm also sensing it's not only that you're a PK, but also you're a firstborn daughter.
Yeah.
And like
correct.
I kind of, it's something I think about a lot as a firstborn daughter. You have a lot of care and love for your family. You look after your siblings. You look after your parents. But then also this other person as well that's going to potentially come, or in your case has had to come at that point.
Yeah.
How did you navigate that dynamic? Because I think from the Bible we hear, a man leaves his wife and he cleaves to his wife. I think also we don't realise that for firstborn daughters, I think there's a psychological, emotional process we have to also go through in terms of like cleaving to our husband and like actually breaking away from our family of origin. So what was that process like for you, basically?
Yeah, that's why it was challenging.
Yeah.
It was absolutely challenging because I was actually in that position where absolutely I was trying to navigate the fact that I'm the first daughter, which means there's a big expectation of me from my parents' side. And that's probably why they were very much attached to me, wanting me to be around, wanting me to be in their church, wanting me to stick with them. And then now now getting married and then trying to join ministry. Remember, it's conflict of interest. They're both interested in the same thing. And the ideal sense was what they wanted is probably for him to come and take over with me so they can pass it on to myself and my husband to run the church. But obviously we had a different vision for the Brook Place Church, which is very different to my family church. It's a prophetic house, it's an apostolic house. I'm coming from probably your conventional, traditional church, so to speak, Pentecostal church, where things are slightly different to how we do church with the Brook Place. So that already was something to start learning from scratch as it is. But I had a lot of pressure because my parents wanted me in their church. They're like, married or not married, you belong here. And then I had a husband telling me that, no, you belong here. Do you not know what marriage is about? That when you're married, you come to this side. And I'm like, no. But I'm also being taught that now that I'm married, you cleave to my side, actually. You come to my side. Imagine being, and that's what I was taught. Yes, fair enough, we're married and we do that. But he who finds a good thing obtains favor from the Lord, fair enough. But when we are, just like you said, when we come as one, you cleave to your wife.
Yeah.
Which means you cleave to your wife's side of the
Wow.
family, really and truly.
Oh,
And then
that's
culturally
okay.
speaking, and from a Nigerian and Yoruba background, they believe that as well. That's why you find that most times the husband comes to the wife's side and gets closer to the wife's family as opposed to the other side. Whereas in the Igbo culture, but they believe that the man is the man, the woman comes to the man's side, you leave that side completely, including my husband's culture, which is Benin. They believe that you leave that side and you come to your husband's side. But us, we believe that no, you come, and because we believe that's what the Bible says. So you cleave to your wife's side, you cleave to your wife. That's why I said before, it's not just about you and your husband in the bubble. You're married to the family, so we believe that you cleave to the wife's family side. So I was being taught that a lot, that no, he's supposed to come to you. Just leave him. He'll be all right. He'll come around eventually, but he needs to come to this side. And I'm like, my God. So it's just like here and there. Then eventually I felt like my parents just said, we will leave you to it. And for me, that felt like you kicked me out. Not like you're leaving me to it to support me along the way, but leaving me to it like you make up your mind. You're married now. Shaft you. Shift. Do navigate it yourself. Not to advise me or tell me. And they were pretty much the people that I would say that I looked up to back then. They for me were my mentors because I had nobody else to look up to. So it's almost like whatever they advised me or told me is what I believed was the right way. So when they now just disappeared, it's almost like they ghosted on me actually. I couldn't reach them at some point. So they would not stop picking up my calls. I thought, hey, I've lost my parents. Oh my God, I've lost my parents. They're not picking up my calls. They're not answering me. They're not calling me back. I was like, okay, wow. So it really is just me and you now. It almost felt like, but a part of me was kind of broken inside because it's not a side that I wanted to ever be affected. It's not what I envisioned for marriage. I wanted a family that gets along together. Remember, I even said it from the beginning. I wanted parents that will embrace my spouse and also my spouse will embrace them because I wanted someone that will love my family like I love them. Especially being the first daughter, that's just part of you. You really are attached to your parents. You really are attached to your siblings. You really want everybody just to get along. That's our heart. I feel that's just the heart of a firstborn child. So anybody that comes into that, you want them to get your family. And before I said that I want them to get my church, but I also wanted to get my family, that this is my family, this is where I'm from. You need to get along with my family. Not just me, but you have to love my family, otherwise we're going to have some issues. And there's some people that really are heavily attached like that. They're like, I'm going to break this relationship if you don't get along with my family.
Wow.
I mean, I wasn't like that, thankfully. I didn't have to be like that. But to be honest, I was already married by then. So for me, a divorce was never an option. For my family, divorce is never an option. They're like, this is normal sometimes for people to fight like this.
Yeah.
You get through it, Triumph, honestly. You're just getting yourself worked up for nothing. And I was like, if you can tell me more of that, then I will be rest assured in the position I was in. But no one was telling me anything.
Yeah.
They were just getting upset with each other. Parents would be upset, spouse would be upset.
Wow.
They would have plunder it on my head. You understand? They would look to me for information about what he's doing. He will look for me for information about what they're doing. Then they'll now plunder their headaches about, oh, they said this about me on top of my head as though it's my fault.
Yeah.
So I was taking a lot of the pressure.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was very, very difficult. Honestly, I did not actually see the light at the end of the tunnel. How I got through it, I could not even tell you to today.
Okay.
All I know was hard feelings, very, very hard feelings. There was war of feelings going inside of me. But eventually, wow, the day just came where everything just turned around.
Wow.
And now to today, everybody is good. Very good. Very happy, very good.
That is amazing.
But along the way, I have to say, maybe it took some time. It definitely took some time. It took some years, to be honest. And even though they were civil, even though it looked like we were good, there were still some hard conversations that needed to be had. And I guess at the appointed time, God presented the opportunities for them to have a heart-to-heart conversation where my husband poured out his heart, where they poured out their heart, and what needed to happen happened in that moment. So even though they were okay and they were smile off a lot of things, there were some words that were not being said that should have been said a long time ago. And that's why I would say to anybody that you may have some things in your mind, in your heart that you've been harboring for a while, and you're trying to shut it down, thinking that you will never have to have those difficult conversations, but the time will come when you will. Better have it sooner than later.
Wow.
So the restoration can take place earlier than later, rather than wasting all those years. So I think the reason why we're eventually so good now is because they had that difficult conversation they had to have, which finally did not involve me. It had nothing to do with me. I did not have to be there. They just needed to have that conversation and pour their heart to each other.
All together.
Without me there. Wow. And it just needed to happen. Difficult conversation, but it needed to happen. But it looked like that's where the real restoration took place.
This is
And now we're
incredible.
good.
When it came to you and your husband, like, what did you learn about the necessity of humility and grace during that season of time? Like, how did you try to navigate that conflict between the two of you specifically? Because how did you manage to navigate without resentment building, for example? Because that can be difficult.
Very, very difficult. I think one thing I had to leverage on was my personality. And one thing for sure is I could be very calm. If pushed, but the calm and the quiet ones, there could be something else when they're really, really pushed, but it takes a lot to get there. And I think I leveraged on that calmness to say that, God, you've given me this calm nature, so certain things like this, do not allow it to get to the point where I would resent my husband and resent this marriage and see it almost like a regret. There were moments where it's almost like the enemy tried to play in that area and said that, oh, maybe you married wrongly, you should have married this type of person, it's not for you, doesn't get you, gets upset easily, is kind of sensitive, he gets angered, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, he's not like that. The situation, unfortunately, is difficult to navigate. It's something that we didn't see ourselves coming in. It's all for the love of God. It's all for the service of God. And the enemy really is just trying to bring about something that should never have happened. Bring about an issue. We don't know if it's a test or if it was a test at that moment. So I just had to take each day at a time. I had to pray for God for strength. I had to pray for God in particular to soften their hearts. Soften his heart, soften my parents' heart. Because it almost felt like a game of stubbornness. Who's more stubborn than the other? Who's more harder than the other? It really did. And I had to take a bit of advice from people that I confided in. Not many, just one or two people. And they gave me some very good advice. One of them is what I've already said, was just praying for a softer heart. Sometimes people just tell you the simple words, but it resonates so strongly. Pray that God will soften his heart, soften their heart, because at the end of the day, if he does, then people will calm down and then they can actually push through. But usually when they're harboring a bit of anger, a bit of bitterness, they're not seeing beyond what is right in front of them, they often will not be wanting to resolve. But if they can just be softened at heart, put some forgiveness there and let some certain things go, they'll be more receptive to wanting to heal through. And that's kind of what happened with that. So I had to be patient, be calm. I won't lie, there were moments where it was a serious headache for me. There was moments where it was like, why am I doing this, God? But then you had to be reminded of, why did you get married in the first place? What is marriage about? You had to be reminded that people have often advised that the first 2-3 years of marriage can be very challenging. And are you going to throw in the towel because of something like this? And then where do you start from when you've now thrown in the towel? I had to be reminding myself, okay.
The streets are bad.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
The streets are cold.
When I come out of this, when am I going to? I had to be reminding myself that the times before you got married, when you were even thinking, Mom and Dad, do you have anybody for me?
Yeah.
Are you telling me you don't have any uncle or auntie that have children that you can hook us up with? You had to remind yourself of those moments where you were even asking your friends, like all your friends were in relationships and you were not. And you're like, God, what is happening? Like, you guys need to tell me there's nobody in your church that's looking for a girl. Then you're like, oh, no, you're not going back to that. Then you're like, we're going to endure this one a bit more. We're going to be a bit more patient. We're going to see what God is going to do with this. Because even in the process, there were happy moments, but it was up and down. And to be honest, to some extent, it affected my service even to my husband's church, sadly so. I couldn't put my 100 because of the headache that I was receiving with all this stress from family and from, himself as well together. I'm like, what's the point then? Why am I even bothering to put my all into church? Because at the end of the day, it's church that's causing this issue.
Wow.
The same things were coming back again. Maybe, that's what I said, maybe it's the traumas from then. The same reminders of pioneering the church and the headache that it comes with was coming back again. So I'm like, because of church now, we're now having issues with our relationship, with our family dynamics and everything like this. It's centered around church again. So God removed the church, then we'll all be good. So I was like, God, then maybe take the church again. Let's be good as family. And I was like, we cannot be having the same issue because of church. So it now became a case of between me and God now. Like, God, you see my heart. I love the things of God. But if you're telling me that church is going to be the one that's going to be causing issues every single time when it comes to family, then God, maybe we shouldn't be doing this church thing. But then I think God reminded me that no, I want you in this church thing. I've called you for such a time like this. I've chosen you both for such a time like this. You're not escaping it, my darling. Your grandparents didn't escape it. Your parents didn't escape it. And it looks like you are the one that's not escaping this. Maybe your siblings have, but you're the one that's not escaping this. I was like, wow. And when I look at the family trend, when I reflect on it, it looked like it was the older children. So my grandma was the oldest, my mom is the oldest, and I'm the oldest. So I was like, God, okay. So when you see patterns like that, you look at the lineage, you know that God is in this. So no matter what contention, no matter what challenge, no matter what turbulence is trying to sabotage your thoughts, your feelings, you remember that it's not about you. It's about God. It's a bigger picture that it's about. And whatever God is trying to do with all of this. So again, he took all the glory in it. And I can look back and say that now. As of then, it was difficult. I'll just calm, drink water, calm my soul. Calm my feelings and keep it moving.
Genuinely, that was amazing. That was fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. We're gonna bring the plane into landing now. This has been one of my favorite episodes of all time. Genuinely, thank you so much. So to land, just final 2 things. One, I'm someone who is discerning ministry full time. So as a child, what do you wish your parents knew about how you felt? And then what final words of encouragement do you just have for people listening in any stage of relationship? We'll close like that.
Oh, wow. I wish my parents were people that will listen to their children. From my, again, Nigerian culture, they have this thing of you are a child, you don't know what you're talking about. So it will automatically shut down your thoughts, your feelings. Anything you say, it doesn't account. You're just speaking like a child. So there's no weight in your words. I just wish I had, at that time, parents who were more of listeners. Parents who understood what their children are saying. And actually, even if they didn't want to take it at that particular time as the first point, at least think about what your child is saying. Think about the way they're saying that they feel at that time. Another thing is giving room for your parents for your children to speak without fear. That's why I feel like sometimes, and I get it why this country has this thing of do not smack children. Even though I do believe in smacking children personally. They say spare the rod, spoil the child. But something about overdoing the rod also instills fear in the child.
Yeah.
And one thing we had was the installation of fear. I think we had so much fear that we thought if we did anything wrong, we would literally be dead.
Okay.
So if we did anything wrong, we wouldn't know how to speak to our parents about that, which I feel like I wish I'd had when I was younger. I wish I'd had parents that do not make you feel so scared that you cannot speak how you feel as you're growing up in ministry, as you feel as you're just growing up as a child. The hormonal changes that you're going through, the emotional feelings that you're going through, the mindsets that you're going through, the exposures that you see outside, that you've been through and you've seen outside. Who can you speak to about that? Most times we'll speak to friends because we can't speak to our parents. So I guess now they definitely are doing that in my adult years. I just wish we had that in our younger years, where they were more willing to open up their arms to listen to their children, where they were more willing to give us a space to speak our mind regardless of how it may be perceived or feel, where they didn't allow us to feel fearful about some of the things that we may say with our struggles, especially in terms of meeting guys and knowing how to navigate those feelings as we're growing and as we're, like I said, our bodies are changing. Now, why am I feeling these things? I mean, I don't know how to deal with it. Being able to just be an avenue to speak those. When we make mistakes as well, even with guys along the way, can we speak about it to our parents and what will they do about it? You know, I just wish I had more of that. And yeah, because in ministry, there is a tendency to take the side of your congregation sometimes more than your actual immediate family.
Wow.
And it's probably because you don't want to lose those members. We had instances like that a lot.
Wow.
Because you don't want to offend the members, because once one member's offended, it's likely that 2 or 3 or more are offended and you start losing your flock. So there was a tendency that if it hurt your family, just keep it under wraps with us. But I think as they get older, and as anyone gets older in ministry, you start to see that your first ministry was always your immediate family before your church family.
Wow.
And those are the ones that stick and don't go anywhere. Whereas with church people, they come and they go. Yeah. Okay, so just to encourage and tell people that are in relationships, no matter what stage you find yourself, for those that are single in particular, just make sure that your list is orchestrated by God. I'll start with that first. Make sure that your list is orchestrated by God. Make sure that you are committing the things that you feel that are minor. Commit them to God. God hears everything and sees everything. At the end of the day, He's the driving wheel and force of your life. And He's the one that can change your mind, your feelings that you feel that you're so hot on and you're so stern on and say, no, this is what I want, this is it. God can change that. God can actually soften you up and change that. The person that you said that I'm not attracted to, this can never be me, believe me, it can be you. For sure. So I just encourage single people as well. This is your time of preparation ground. You cannot have any other time to prepare than now. Use the resources that are available to you. Use platforms that are available to you. Get into those books. Get into those YouTube videos. Get into those sermons. Get into those words that you hear. Get into those communities that are there to help you as single people so that you know exactly what you are signing up for. Most times people do not know what they're entering. They enter quite prematurely because they haven't done the work before, which doesn't mean that you won't have a successful marriage, but it may be a lot harder. You can avoid a lot of those hardnesses, those challenges by actually preparing yourself, preparing your mindset before time. And how does that work? It comes by training a bit more. It comes by being around the right community. It comes with prayer, it comes with fasting, it comes with mentors. These are the people that will make it easier for you, so you know exactly what you again are getting into, and you're more ready for it. So it becomes a joyous moment rather than times of up and down, burden, joy, burden, joy. But we just want it to be joy and all the way up, especially if you've been waiting all this time. Surely you'd want to get it right.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go and just be going upwards sailing. So I encourage you, be steadfast in your wait, be unmovable in your wait, trust the Lord in the process. He's the one that gives you strength in the wait. For those that wait on the Lord, what does he do? He renews your strength. So you have the strength. It's God that renews your strength. Sometimes you might be feeling that you're weak. Your spirit is weak, but it's God that will indeed pull you through. And trust me, the wait is so worth it, because once you sign that dotted line, once you're married, God willing, there's no going back. The only way is going forward. We will not do divorce. It will not be a broken home in the name of Jesus. We all want to get it right and do it the right way. So why not wait? Do the process the right way, go through all the steps and make it worth the wait, so that when you're in for good. Okay?